FM.
And streamed live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Dependency. Right here on I-95.5 FM, live on the Dependency Facebook page and YouTube channel. Good morning, Natasha. All right, folks, we just had a little glitch there.
Good morning.
We just had a little glitch there in the electricity. I hope you're still with us.
Yes.
Those of you who are on Facebook, please let us know if you're hearing us comfortably on Facebook and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here once again with this morning. Mr. Athley is on the board with us. And morning, Natasha.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope you are doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. And make sure you're hydrated because it looks like it's going to be another scorcher today.
Yes.
And we are on Iron Dependency, continuing our retelling and telling of these stories, of these lived experiences of women who have been involved either by volunteering or by being coerced or tricked into the drug trafficking world. And we want to make the connection, as always, about the risk of them being trafficked themselves. So welcome to all of you who are tuned in on I-95.5 and as well on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And please don't forget to like the page, share the live, comment on the live. It really does help us stay on the air.
Yes, and just to remind you that once again you're going to be educated on the act, the means and purpose of human trafficking. Please pay attention. We're going to speak with two women this morning who ended up crossing the same finish line, but for different reasons and different experiences. This could be happening right in your household, whether you subscribe to us or not. We're doing this for you. So we're going to be speaking this morning with Raquel, who you'll hear from in a while, and Raquel will be on the phone with us. Now, you should be accustomed to her by now, but there's another reason why we have her on this morning, and you will find out later on. As usual, this Dependency is to educate you and make you aware, create awareness and prevention. And in studio we have Kersha Eastman Brown.
Hi, morning.
Now, those of you who paid attention, you will remember that Kersha was here alongside Natasha De Leon and the folks at Rise Maximum Radio
Yes.
on Mother's Day.
Yes.
She was one of the mothers who sat with us. She is out now of prison, July this year.
Yeah.
So still getting her feet wet and settling and resettling. And she'll tell you how all of that went. But as usual, every life is a biography. So we go back to the beginning of these women, different upbringing, but similar journey, ending up in a similar situation. Please pay attention to what's going to happen. Now, during this broadcast, before we sign off, we realize that there are people out there who we have to relate with and speak with and get to understand that they too are part of the crime-fighting apparatus in Trinidad and Tobago. And believe me when I tell you that everybody, as the Prime Minister always says, shoulders to the wheel, all hands on deck. And some people don't seem to understand what that means. Try as we may, after 24 plus years, some people still don't understand addiction. They don't. They clearly don't. It's either they don't or they don't care.
They don't want to.
And so today we'll give you a 3-minute feature on what is addiction. For people to understand out there that NGOs like ours, we truly understand what's happening on the ground. And this is why the generals must help supply the ammo for the battle to continue. You cannot withhold ammo and expect your troops or the troops, the ground troops, to win or even make a dent in the battle that's going on out here right now. Some of you fail to pay attention and understand that the list of drugs from my era to now has grown tremendously. Our children are in trouble, deep trouble. And we are not making this up. We get the phone calls. Fortunately for people, we answer their calls. Fortunately for people, we respond to their messages and outreach. And whole week I've been doing referrals. Some of you who are in the bubble don't understand how difficult it is. But we, the ground troops, cannot fight the battle if we are denied ammo. I'll explain more of that before we wrap up. But we have that feature to show you on what is addiction. And then, to add a little feel-good to the morning, I don't know those of you who understood or heard what happened on Sealots there where that car overturned. And the young man, Sean Robinson, I think is his name? Deshaun, yes, Robinson, actually went into the car.
Yes.
I mean, this is stuff you see on TV.
Correct.
One ridiculousness. He went into the car, pushed the man out, who was obviously unconscious. The man about 3 times his size. See what adrenaline does?
Yeah, for real.
And while everybody was standing, wondering what to do, this young man dove into the car. And mind you, the car was on its left side, I think. Yes, because he was seeing the bottom of the vehicle. And he climbed inside that hot car, pushed that man out, and then climbed out for himself before the car.
And he had to release the man from his seatbelt.
He had to release the man from his seatbelt. He looked inside. Fire service, I think this is one young man. If he's interested, you all should immediately contact.
Absolutely.
And put him on in the next batch of trainees.
Yep.
Because he, like clear, thinks under pressure and ran into a fire, dove into a fire literally.
Ran towards the danger.
Yes.
Yep.
If this young man wants a better life for himself and his family and he wants to be a fireman, please hire him. That's the least we can do for him. And let him continue his rescue. Quite obviously, the genes he has in him is rescue genes. he has rescue genes in him.
Yeah.
Automatic, natural.
And we hope as well that this incident gives people a little levity and give the people of Sealots a little grace for their humanity. Because it wasn't just him, it was other members of the community also rushed to this gentleman's assistance.
And strange enough, it didn't go viral. Now, if he had dove into the car and robbed the man, that would have gone viral.
Oh, of course.
You understand? Yes, another cockroach again. Look, the man dying and they robbed the man. That would have gone viral.
Yeah.
But they didn't rob him. And the irony is he's a police officer. If the information is correct. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
But the victim is a police officer. I shouldn't say victim, but the casualty, I don't know if he survived or not. But he's a police officer. Wild and about. Kersha, good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning, God.
And thank you very much for joining us. Shortman, let's go to a break. And when we return, we will start this journey with these 2 women. Let them hear, for you to hear, so you can prevent. It's as simple as that. Yeah? So we go to a break. We'll be back. Stay right there.
Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. We know that you would have heard this. Fed up at the boom, fed up at the bang, fed up at the war, roaring, fed up at the gangs. Now we are calling on talented youth under the age of 24 to answer the call. We will provide you with the instrumental. All you have to do is fill it with your own lyrics.
Yo, my name is Willie Ben, and me come for deal with all them geezer and pull them out like hair on a tweezer.
Well, not like that, but your own conscious lyrics.
Answer the call and you can win a professional music video and audio recording, thousands of dollars in prizes. Make your team of 5. Grab your smartphone and 4 of your friends. Download the beat from the link on the Call to Order TT and Ministry of National Security Instagram pages and create your call video with your own lyrics. Post it to Instagram with the hashtags Call to Order Project or 1MNS and look out for the results.
This is the Call to Order project, powered by the Ministry of National Security.
Hello.
Hi, this is Patricia Kent from HMP London. Can I speak to Miss Sheila, please?
This is Miss Sheila.
Hi, I've got an important call for you. Please hold the line.
Mommy, it's Sherry.
Oh God, Sherry, we looking for you all the time. 3 weeks now. Where you going?
Mommy, according to tell you, I get locked up. I had drugs in my luggage and I'm in England right now. In jail.
Oh, God, Sherry, what will you do? How you reach there? Oh, God, how we going to do?
Oh God, Mommy, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. It'll be alright. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best every Sunday on I 95.5 FM. Don't miss it.
$50 by $20, $50 by $25.
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Hello Trinidad, my name is Suzette, a Trinidadian inmate at HMP Draycott, Staffordshire, England, and you are listening to I Am Dependency with Gat and Natasha. Please, don't traffic drugs. The money is not worth it, trust me.
Welcome back. This is Iron Dependency, and we're happy to have you on live stream on Facebook and YouTube, and as well on I95.5 FM. We have in studio Kersha, who is going to share with us a little more than what she shared the last time she was here about her experience.
But before we get to Kersha, let's get to the person who first went to. Kersha was arrested in Trinidad, so we show you the work that our law enforcement have been doing at our airport.
Yeah.
But first, let's speak with a young lady. She will tell us why, because Raquel is one who volunteered to do this. Good morning, Raquel.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Kersha.
Good morning.
All right.
Morning.
So we've gathered as one family once again.
Yes,
so,
we are.
Raquel, why did this happen? What position were you in when this happened?
For those who don't know my story, I had just had a baby. She was 8 months old at the time, and her father wasn't really supportive within getting stuff for a baby. And I wasn't working as the pregnancy was really difficult for me. I was really sick. So 8 months into having my baby, a friend a baby and the father not supportive. So I want anything that could bring in an income at the time. When she told me about it, she said, well, it's in England. I said, well, okay, no problem. I said, well, it doesn't matter. I spoke to my mom and she said she would have seen the baby basically while I go to work and things. Now, basically, I thought when she told me about this job, I really thought it was like a job agency to another job agency connecting the jobs. But really and truly, it was her. She put me onto a friend of hers, and that was the person that really was the connection to everything. When I spoke to that person, they told me basically I'll be paid like £4,000 a month, and it may increase. I will have living accommodations and everything like that. So I was like, for the first 3 months, and then I'll be able to make my own money, and I'll be able to move out on my own. So I was like, okay, yeah, brilliant, yeah. So I gave that individual my passport, and they basically purchased the ticket for me to go. And the date that I was supposed to go was September the 7th, 2011. That was the date of my ticket. When they called me and said, well, yeah, everything is organized, I said, well, all right. I organized myself. I kissed my baby, kissed my mom. I said, well, I'm going to work. I'll be back.
Raquel, stick up in a minute. Two things. How old was your baby? I don't know if you mentioned that. I missed this. How
Yeah,
old?
she was 8 months at the time.
8 months. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the day that you traveled in proximity to when they bought it, how was the distance between that? What was the distance between that?
Pardon, I didn't hear the last
So
part of the question.
okay, let's say you were to travel the Monday. When did they buy the ticket?
Oh, they bought the ticket like the day before.
Okay, good.
Oh,
That's good
okay.
information.
The day before.
I'll tell you why. That's good information. Go ahead. Sorry. Go
Because
ahead.
they called me the day before I had to leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
There
go
was-
ahead.
I was
Yeah.
supposed to leave on the 7th, and they called me the 6th.
Right. Go ahead.
That's how I knew my ticket date.
Right.
Wow. Well, how did you feel about that? Were you at all in the frame of mind to travel? I mean, did you decide then and there that, right, well, it's tomorrow, so I have to go ahead with it?
Remember, I was going on the impression of a job. It was a job.
Right.
Right. I was ecstatic. I've been honest. I was ecstatic that it was that quick.
All right. But
So,
that's a red flag, and I'll tell you why later on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on red flag at all.
No, not for you. Not for you. Sorry, not for you. But go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was really, really exciting to know that, all right, I'm leaving soon. I do so basically on the 7th. I left home. I kissed my mom. I kissed my baby, and I left. And when I went to meet the person in Port of Spain, right on South Key by opposite City Gate. I'm not sure if it's still at the jewelry store there. I was right there. I met them at the jewelry store.
Yes.
They picked me up, and they took me to Samoa, at a house in Samoa, where a lady came out. When I arrived at the house in Samoa, a lady came out with my passport and the ticket in it already. Right? And the person who picked me up was a male with a male driver. I was in the back seat, and then when we arrived, a female came out, as I said, with my passport and my ticket. When I arrived there, I was trying to ask them what it's about and all this kind of thing, basically. And they were telling me, they told me, well, you have to do what we had to do for you. We already calling you to transport now. And I was like, nah, I know why I come here for. I come here to work. They say, well, this is the work, basically. I say, well, I have to decline because that's too risky now. I wasn't so desperate. I told her, nah, I have to decline. They said, well, the ticket already bought, and you had to go, or else your mother and your daughter would feel the brunt of the money that we waste. I was basically like, what do you mean? They said, we know everything about you. We know you have a baby. We know your baby with your mommy. And you know your mommy is a kind of ageable person. So I was like, okay. They say, if you don't do it, they will pay the cake, basically. And I was like, nah. being a first-time mother, I can't say a newborn, but an 8-month-old baby, and my mother was in her late 50s at that point in time. So I was like, nah, I can't put them at risk for something that I basically was rushing into. So at that point in time, I was already there. I went. I said, well, I will do it. I will have no choice but to do it. They say, well, if you don't do it, we will really kill your daughter and your mother. I was like, okay. It didn't take 2 hours after I arrived in Sawa for me to be at the airport. It didn't take that amount of time. It was very, very... Now, I must say that when they told me what I was going to do, my world fell apart. My brain went to mush because it come like you walk into an ant's nest and the ant start to bite you and you still can't move. It felt like that. So when I went to the airport, the lady, the same team that I was with from Port of Spain, they took me to the airport. The woman stayed with me until the flight. Now, the 2 men who was in the front seat, they didn't come out of the car at all. They stayed, and just me and the woman went in. She basically booked in the ticket and my passport and everything. I didn't get to touch my passport and the ticket until after we went up to the counter and everything was settled. When that was over, they called the flight. I went on the plane. I was nervous. Well, the ticket was really to Barbados. I forgot to tell her that. I had to go from Barbados to England. So I went to Barbados. When I went to Barbados, I stayed there 3 days. Being there 3 days, it was horrible because I was basically locked in a room. No, it wasn't a bad room. It wasn't bad condition. It's just that the door was locked from the outside. I had a bathroom, a bed, and a toilet. Inside my room, I had a TV, and I had, the bags there. I got the bag from Trinidad, I never got the bag from Barbados. From Trinidad, they gave me a duffel bag with it packed underneath.
So the lady accompanied you with that bag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because I just had a very small carry-on suitcase that I could have tripped into the and I could have go onto the plane because I didn't have any cool clothes, as I said. I thought I was going to this job agency where they would take care of me when I reach. So I just basically packed very basic, some underwear, some long tights, real basic I packed. I didn't even have a winter jacket, to be honest.
Another red flag. Go ahead.
So when you arrived, though, in Barbados, there wasn't any hint that anybody knew what was going on with you?
Yes, there was an inclination of somebody, of it being organized. Because when I came off the plane, officer, I don't know if it's immigration or custom, I can't say which one, but an officer, she had on a uniform. It was a female. She basically came, she took me and to the guys that I had to meet in Barbados. So she knew exactly who I was going to meet, and I didn't know who I was going to meet.
So the guys who organized this were kind of sloppy because they didn't tell you in case questioned, you can say, you're coming here. Okay.
Exactly. But probably they had their stuff organized very well for that day.
Yes.
I don't know. But as I came off the plane, and she took my ticket. I arrived at there. She took my ticket and my passport, and she took me outside around from everybody. I didn't even pass through the normal thing. It wasn't through anything. It was around and out into the front.
So she probably was part of the network then.
Well, thinking about it now, after 13 years, sorry. Thinking back, it probably was she was part of the organization.
Yep.
Right?
So you spent 3 nights in Barbados?
I spent 3 nights in Barbados.
And
it wasn't bad, as I said. And after that, the same guys took me to the airport, and there I got my UK ticket in the airport.
Oh.
Okay.
Another red flag. Yeah,
Right?
I'm just, identifying all the red flags, not for you,
Yes.
but for authorities. I'll explain
Yes.
later. Go ahead.
But did you know, were you told at any point that England was your final destination? And did you have any conversations about, as you mentioned, the clothing? Did anybody say, well, you should try and get a jacket or try and look to
Well,
conceal your real purpose?
no. When I was in Barbados, they gave me everything. Basically, my little basic clothes was replaced with whatever they gave me.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember the door was locked, so it's what they come open the door and put in my room.
Yeah.
Basically.
So they
I
gave you the
had
winter
bag.
clothes?
Yeah, they gave me the winter clothes.
Okay.
But I had the bag. I had the bag with the drugs in all the time with me.
They're not sloppy, they're smart.
Yes.
They're not sloppy at
Yeah,
all.
because if you're going to Barbados, then anybody check your bag, they want to know what you're doing with winter clothes.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So you boarded and you on the aircraft now. Was it that easy?
I'm boarded. I'm on the aircraft. Before, when they left me, I took my suitcase and the duffel bag. No, I didn't have my suitcase after my original suitcase that I left Trinidad with. I had another suitcase, but I still say my suitcase. The suitcase that they gave me, right? After it was checked basically, and had the duffel bag on my shoulder, and I was not in view of them. I took the duffel bag off my shoulder and I literally stuck it into the suitcase. I didn't want to have it on me anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And when the bag went, yeah.
So that was in your checked luggage then?
Yes.
Okay.
I took the bag and I put it into the checked luggage. I didn't carry the duffel bag with me on the plane.
Right.
I put it in the big luggage.
Okay.
And that went into the luggage compartment and everything. So I was basically free. All I had on me while I was traveling was my plane ticket, my passport, and I had my purse. I didn't even have a handbag.
Was that an instruction given to you, or you made that decision to make that switch?
I made the decision to make a switch. The instruction was keep the duffel bag on you at all times.
Well, I guess you're
No, I knew it had drugs in it, so I was kind of bummy basically.
So I guess your guardian angel decided stopping off in Barbados because they were with you up to that point.
Yeah.
But so you got on the aircraft and you landed at Gatwick.
And I landed at Gatwick. When I landed at Gatwick and I came through the system, it was very smooth. I passed through, come through. As I said, all I had was my purse. At that point in time, long time, they didn't used to make you take off your shoes and all them kind of thing.
Right.
So you just basically take off whatever the metal detector would sound off. Put that in a basket, then I run through a scanner and you walk through a scanner and everything was fine. When I walked through and everything I got through, I went to the baggage claim now, where you have to go and pick up your suitcase. When I arrived there, I didn't see my suitcase one time, so I had to wait. But as I saw my suitcase, I touched it. And as I touched my suitcase, there were 3 or 4 I believe it was 3 because there were one on each side of me and one behind me. When I took the bag off the lift and I rested on the floor and I pull up this thing, as I lift up my head, these officers, it has one on the left, one on the right. So I was confused at that point in time. But then when I turned around, there was another officer. That one was a female officer. Now she started to question me. The 2 male officers didn't really say anything. They just had on gloves, and the female officer had on gloves as well. But she was the person interacting with me throughout the whole everything. She asked me, did you pack your bag? Where did you come from? How long you're staying? And I basically did not know anything about what I was doing, because as I said, I didn't plan for this. But they had this thing well organized. They took me into the room where they took out whatever clothes it had in the duffel bag. They searched the suitcase first. They didn't find anything. The duffel bag was at the bottom of the suitcase. So they took that out. I think it had probably 4 pieces of clothes that probably the lady from Sawa put in it. And then it had the solid bottom. Now, as they rest the bag and it put on the pelt out on them clothes, the man just turned and watched me. Now, I watching him. Now, I remember I already knew that he didn't have drugs in there. And I think they were watching me to see if I knew that they will find it. You know, and he cut the bag instantly and the bottom with a knife, and that was it. Poking his ears. And they did everything in front of me. After that, well, I didn't know, I knew after. They made a call first on the PA system within the airport for anyone that came to meet me. A man came forward and they arrested him.
Wow.
I wasn't going. I wasn't going. I tell you, you'd have been on your own from there because they had no reason to call me. Unless something happened to you, I'll read about it. But you know, I wasn't going. And he walked right into that, right?
He walked right into it because basically he probably thought, because remember from Barbados, I walked around everybody and went to somebody that I didn't know as well.
Yes.
So probably it was the same procedure in UK. You know, they have whoever they have set up, and I would just go. I didn't know any names or anything like that, who I was going to. I don't even know the person name who I got arrested with.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Because he had a whole separate thing. It was me against the state of United Kingdom, and then his case was him and against the state of United Kingdom.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with Raquel. She's telling us of her experience from San Juan to Gatwick Airport. What she experienced trying to traffic cocaine into the UK. And she's now she's caught at Gatwick. So the jig was up. They told you, they read you your rights, or they cautioned you, sorry. In the UK, they cautioned you.
They did. They cautioned me, and they told me that I will be spending the time at HMP. But at that point in time, I didn't know what that was. But that is Her Majesty's.
Yes, Her Majesty's prison.
Her Majesty's prison, exactly.
Yes. At the pleasure, you're serving at the pleasure of the Queen. Well, now the King.
Well, now it's the King, yes. His Majesty's Wandsworth now. I think they take over so they just saying HM and they call the name of the prison. That's how they do it now. So instead of HMP, they just say His Majesty's Brixton, His Majesty's Wandsworth, His Majesty's Drake Hall.
Yeah, they took it out now.
Yes. So what now? I mean, did you realize then that you're not going home, or you thought they would have put you back on a plane and send you back to Trinidad at one time?
I was really praying that I was going to go back home and probably serve my time at home, but that wasn't the case. I didn't even go to a police station. They took me straight from the airport straight to the prison.
Oh, Lord.
Straight. It wasn't no processing and all them kind of thing. Lock up one time. The bus, as I walk out the door, the bus was right there. I didn't even have to walk 10 footsteps. 10 would have been too much. I probably walked 5 to 6 footsteps.
But how did
I was in a van. They handcuffed me. You see, when they put on handcuffs on you, all the reality that's set in of the fact that
you no longer have your freedom.
Yep.
A gone boy.
That's what really it means. Yep. Handcuff, just the sound of it alone.
Clicks.
Yeah.
It says
when they clicking that to tighten it on your wrist.
Yeah, it says got you. That's what that sound I call it. Because I've had handcuff placed on me a few times. So I know what it feels like. You're totally helpless. You know like when you take a pigeon up by the wings or a bird, it does it. So and the phone call home now.
I left out a piece. As to when I got locked up. I got a solicitor, a lawyer, one time in the airport. One time, a lawyer came and he was there to defend me. I told him my story, And he was all right. We are going to do this case as one of duress. And so we stuck to that case. We stuck to it. The lawyer was very, very, very efficient. He ensured that none of my human rights were infringed on and that I was treated very well. He also, when I arrived at the prison, he was there. He drove in front of the van and reached the prison before I was even there.
Wow.
Yeah, and he stayed there the night. He stayed there, make sure I was booked in properly and that I was being taken care of and not victimized because of the situation that I was already in. The very next morning, I got a phone call. I got to make a phone call to my mom. Now, I was really, really excited, anxious, nervous to make that phone call because the last thing I know is that if I don't do certain things, I wouldn't see my papa basically and my mom anymore. Right? So I was hoping that when I made that phone call, that somebody would answer the phone.
And when they did, what happened?
When I answered the phone, when I called, my mom answered. I told her what had happened, and she wasn't mad at all. She probably was. How to put it?
Shocked. Shocked.
She was like, yeah, she was shocked, but it was like more like, all right, you're done there already. Let me make it bad for my child. When she come home, I will deal with the situation. So she was very calm on the phone. She started to ask questions that I couldn't answer right away. Right? But then she was like, everything will be okay. Your daughter will be fine. I will take care of her. You just do study nothing, basically. And I was like, okay, no problem. She never ponged me about being locked up. Never. She accepted the fact that I was locked up. I served my time, and when I came back home, she did pepper me.
No, is she still alive?
No, she died. My mom passed away in 2023.
No,
wow.
Did you think a mother's intuition, you think she knew that is what you were going to do and didn't really, I don't know, did you all discuss that? Did she believe you at all when you said you were going and what you were going to do?
After I came home and we discussed it, she said, I really thought you was going for a job, you know. But then when she sat back and she thought about how it happened, after I called her, she said, yeah, that was how it set up to go and do them things.
All right. So eventually, how much time you got? How long you stayed?
The court case dragged on for very long because the other party, despite we were arrested together and we were tried separately, because he was like an accomplice or something like that, let me put it like that, he pleaded not guilty. So the case dragged for months. And at the end of it, because he was a reoffender, I learned this after, he was a reoffender to the same crime.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. He got 10 years.
Wow. And he was a British national or?
He was a Trinidad national frequenting Britain.
Ah, I see.
Habitual offender.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got 5 years because of the potency of the cocaine that was in my bag. My potency was over 75%, and once it's over 75%, they have a sentencing gap as to how the individual is supposed to serve their time. And I fit into the 75 to 95% bracket, which the minimum amount of time served would have been 4.5 years to 7, and I got 5 years because it was my first time and everything like that.
And how much time had you spent before you were sentenced? How much time were you on remand?
I was on remand for a very long time, almost 13 months. 13 months I was on remand. So by the time I was sentenced, I only had 8 to do, because the government takes off 9 months from your time because you're returning home.
Mm-hmm.
So I served in total 21 months. 22 months I served in total.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and you're listening to Raquel tell her story. We're going to take a break, and when we return, Raquel will sum it up by telling us the time spent, what did she learn up there, and what she came back with what she returned to Trinidad and Tobago with, and what she's planning to do, and why she prefers to speak by phone and not show her face as yet. Stay right there. We'll be back.
Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. We know that you would have heard this.
Fed up of the boom, fed up of the bang, fed up of the warring, fed up of the gangs.
Now we are calling on talented youth under the age of 24 to answer the call. We will provide you with the instrumental. All you have to do is fill it with your own lyrics.
Yo, my name is Willie Ben, and me come for deal with all them geezer and pull them out like hair on a tweezer.
Well, not like that, but your own conscious lyrics.
Answer the call and you can win a professional music video and audio recording. Thousands of dollars in prizes. Make your team of 5. Grab your smartphone and 4 of your friends. Download the beat from the link on the Call to Order TT and Ministry of National Security Instagram pages and create your call video with your own lyrics. Post it to Instagram with the hashtags Call to Order Project or 1MNS and look out for the results.
This is the Call to Order Project, powered by the Ministry of National Security.
Slavery, a terrible time in our history. The kidnapping, buying and selling of people for profit, the exploitation of another human being. It still exists today. It has a new name: human trafficking. Anyone can be a victim. There is forced labor, sexual exploitation, and domestic servitude. Human trafficking is a worldwide problem and an emerging concern for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know of or suspect human trafficking activity, call the Counter-Trafficking Hotline at 800-4CTU or 800-4288. Human trafficking is a crime. Identify it, report it, stop it. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
$50 by $20, $50 by $25.
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Hello, my name is Raquel, a Trini inmate at HMP Drake Hall, Staffordshire, England, and you're listening to Dependency with Garth and Natasha. Please, people, don't traffic drugs. The money is all that nice. It's not worth it.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Yes, this is Dependency, and for those of you watching online, please drop a like on the live. It is free 99. As you're there on Facebook and YouTube, remember to like the live, please.
So Raquel is still with us. Raquel, so you accepted your fate and you settled down in a foreign prison.
God, before you go there, Raquel, when we met you at Drake Hall, how long had you been in prison by that time, and what did you make of our interview?
When I met you guys at Drake Hall, I had already spent about 15 months in prison.
Okay.
And seeing you all like a breath of fresh air, because I was like, hey, I did not come from home. I started to think about food and all kind of thing one time.
but you did meet some nationals in prison with you.
Yes. I met probably just 2 Trinidadians, but the rest were more like Jamaicans, Vincentians, Nigerians that were in that same thing. I only met 2 Trinidadians, but the majority was Jamaican.
But they said
when I went to Drake Hall, it only had 1 Trinidadian there.
But they sent you to school. They actually tried to qualify you while you were there, or they offered that option.
Oh, yes. When I was at HMP Style, because I was at HMP style first while I was on remand. And when I got sentenced, they sent me to Draco.
Now, these programs, are they mandatory? You must...
No. You can, they are, well, within the prison system, they pay you £2 a day to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
The jobs are laundry, basically, yard maintenance. Now, the prison is not what we have in Trinidad here. The prison is like houses with rooms shared with ladies. There's about 16 houses in a strip. It have road signs, signs like on the road. It have different avenues. There's a whole foreign national center. There's a huge gym. There's a farm. It have garden. It just like a gated
community. I was just gonna say that.
A gated
Literally
community
a gated
with very big walls. Well, about 3 layers of walls, you can see.
If it's the online stream, I hope our radio listeners are still hearing us. But sorry, go ahead. We'll short man, just take note, please. Go ahead, Raquel.
The sound, they're not getting sound on Facebook. Yes, only go to YouTube. I don't know what has happened to Facebook on a Sunday, but
I don't know.
If you have a problem, still try the YouTube channel, right?
Oh, it's back. He says it's back now.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, Raquel,
sorry
go
about
ahead.
that.
You asked the reason why I'm not showing my face on camera. Before this encounter, I am an educated young lady. I went to school. I had 6 CXC subjects, including maths and English, HSB. I have a degree in some other things, and I also have when I came back, I continued to educate myself. I have a diploma in health and safety right now, and I also touched up on my cosmetology. I also went to 8SEP, where I acquired a certificate in beauty culture there as well. And I think people wouldn't see who I am if they see my face. They will see they will see the fact that the mistake that I made, the fact that I went where I went and I did what I did. I am trying to get a job, so my resume is still, it still looks good. But from time people say, that is a girl that traffic drugs. That is all they will see. They won't see my qualification. They won't see my skills. So that is one of the main, because of the stigma of making a mistake and people not wanting to let it go.
Yeah.
Is why I keep my identity concealed. I have my children to still see about. I have myself to maintain. And as I said, my resume looks very good when I send it out. But I do not want to be judged by this to not get employment. I want my qualifications to talk for me, not my life experience.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we live in a country that not everybody could understand. That we are all human, and we have different reactions to hunger, and poverty, and so this is why we here in Independence didn't judge anyone, because no one in this room here, I'm sure, or could say directly off the top of the head what you would do if somebody points a gun at you.
Exactly.
You would know.
We don't know.
I mean, one day you might feel vulnerable.
Until it happens.
Next day, it could be, for a woman, it could be that time of the month and she ain't taking stupidness and she cuffed down the man with the gun. You know, it can be different scenarios.
Yeah.
You know, so no one knows who will respond, but thank you very much, Raquel, for what would you say to young ladies listening to you out there, and what would you say to a parent or young ladies out there who may be thinking maybe they should do that because they're trying to get jobs, they can't, they're seeking employment, they can't. What would you suggest? Tell them.
What I'm suggesting to young ladies out here, ladies, be patient. Educate yourself, not only book. Do a trade, a skill. It always comes in handy. And I'm telling you that what glitters, things that glitter is not gold. If it seems too good to be true, 99% of the time, it is too good to be true. Be patient, be goal-oriented, and focused. Your goals are reachable, no matter what you want to do. If you want to become an astronaut, you could do that. Not because you're from Trinidad, you can't reach the stars. It is capable once you all are willing to put in the work. And the journey is not an easy one.
Thank you, Raquel. Stay on the line with us. Kersha, what a journey. Yeah?
A very similar story.
Well, all right. So we'll hear from you.
Yes.
After this break, we'll see, for those of you who didn't understand what Raquel said, you see packing, someone packing a bag for you, very dangerous.
Yes.
These officers here and abroad are very, very, very sharp in picking up certain things. And as I asked Natasha, if someone approaches you at Leo, you, Kersha, and say, look, we want you to traffic drugs for us, and you say no, what will be your position? You ever thought of that?
Thinking about it, you know, you hear stories, and if it never happened to you, you will say one thing, but when it do happen, it comes like she has no choice. You know, you're seeking to protect your young one, your mother. You know, what else you could do?
Yeah,
that is all you could be thinking.
Yeah.
Go to the police. If you take that chance and set a whole operation.
That chain of events, yes.
You know,
you start a domino effect, right?
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying. I was saying that to Natasha the other night when we were discussing this. I said, you know, but how do you get out of that? Somebody come to you and say, we need you to do this, and you say no. No, You know somebody's secret. You know somebody's operation, how they making money. Would that person leave you alone with that knowledge, knowing that you can actually be so disgusted by that and go to the police?
Yes, but then how do we guide people? How do you prevent people from being in that position in the first place? Because the first thing you tell people is, if you see something, say something, right? And obviously the right, quote unquote, right thing to do would be to go to the police in that instance. But if you are in a position where you don't feel like you have the wherewithal or the support or the resources to keep yourself and your family safe from this individual, because look how much information they had about her and she didn't know anything about them.
Right.
So in that instance, yes, I mean, she would be fearful for her life and think, well, I can't go to the police for this because by the time I do that, they will get me and my family.
It's food for thought. And somebody asked a very pertinent question here. Let me ask you, Raquel, the friend, the young man who first approached you when it was down for you. Have you ever seen him since? Raquel? Okay, we probably would have lost her. She's still there? Raquel?
Hi, good morning.
Yes. No, somebody asked on YouTube, Janice asked on YouTube, the friend who introduced you to this, the so-called friend. Have you ever met him or seen him since?
To be clear, it's a friend of mine introduced me to somebody that they know. So it was like my friend, their friend. Yes, it was a friend of a friend. The person who introduced me, the common friend that introduced me to the guy that I met, I don't think she had anything to do with it. I have not, the guy that I met with and got everything in order, I should say. I never saw him again, ever.
Right. But, I mean, even the friend who introduced you to him, I still have my thoughts on that. But so for it to be so, God is great. You're back. You're safe. You're in one piece. But I just wanted to wrap up before we go to the break and come back with Kersha quickly. I just want you all to know that the red flags I spoke about is there's a reason why you are asked to buy, preferably you buy tickets in advance.
Yes.
The only way you could get past authorities out there is if your mother living there and she dies, you have to have proof of that. And you say, so then, because they will ask you, especially to England, they know the price of a ticket to England. How you buy this in 2 days and come up here.
Correct.
They will know. And post 9/11, there are a lot of things were put in place from the time a travel agent books a flight. That information goes to everybody who needs to know. If you're a first-time flyer, regular flyer, so that's a red flag, right? And then purchasing ticket in Barbados, the same. I mean, all of that were red flags. You literally had a target on your back when you landed at Gatwick.
Yep. Even though it was the whole operation was so well organized. I mean, it still put up those red flags for the authorities to be able to identify.
And then the dogs will do the rest in the back.
A trap, yes.
You know, so.
And as I said in a previous interview, I was probably the scapegoat in order for the real thing to go through.
Somebody else will go through. All of that could be that too.
It could have been that.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, just the way that the officers were on me in England, that was too quick. That was like real fast. That was a kind of experience that, all right, let me focus. Let's deflect what is the real thing, and let's put all the focus on this young lady. So if she had like 1 kilogram of cocaine, when all the officers rush into her, about 10 going and go the next way, and they wouldn't be wiser.
We know that story too. You're listening to Independency. Let's go a quick break, and we'll be back with Kersha, and she'll tell us how our law enforcement was just as sharp. Stay right there.
$50 by 20, $50 by 25.
This is Kyron Pollard. When you play, do it the legal way. Don't bet on illegal gaming.
Slavery, a terrible time in our history. The kidnapping, buying and selling of people for profit, the exploitation of another human being. It still exists today. It has a new name: human trafficking. Anyone can be a victim. There is forced labor, sexual exploitation, and domestic servitude. Human trafficking is a worldwide problem and an emerging concern for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know of or suspect human trafficking activity, call the counter-trafficking hotline at 800-4CTU or 800-4288. Human trafficking is a crime. Identify it, report it, stop it. A message from the counter-trafficking unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Hello. Hi, this is Patricia Kent from HMP London. Can I speak to Miss Sheila, please?
This is Miss Sheila.
Hi, I've got an important call for you. Please hold the line. Mommy, it's Sherry.
Oh, God, Sherry, we looking for you all the time. 3 weeks now. Where you going?
Mommy, I'm calling to tell you I get locked up. I had drugs in my luggage and I'm in England right now. In jail.
Oh, God, Sherry, what? What you do? How you reach there? Oh, God, how we gonna go?
Oh, God, Mommy, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. It'll be all right. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best every Sunday on I 95.5 FM. Don't miss.
Hi, my name is Professor Cram McKenzie from the Centre of Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto, Canada, and you're listening to Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and we just heard from Raquel, who is still with us on the line, I believe, about her experience being a drug mule. And God, I want you, before we switch to Kersha, just explain how Raquel herself could have been trafficked in her circumstance.
Well, I mean, a lot went on there. From the time you are approached and you're threatened, of course, she was tricked into, that's the act, you know, the trickery of telling her she's going to get a job outside, £4,000 a month and all of these things. And it's like putting an ad in the newspaper for models.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go and you realize it's not really
It's
modeling,
something else,
it's something else. So she found herself in that situation. And of course, the means was the transporting of the
drugs
across across borders. And it speaks to that in the Trafficking in Persons Act. And
had she gotten through?
Hadn't she gotten through?
She may herself have been trafficked to do.
She could have been trafficked as well.
Work. Or to do the same work, to carry it back to Trinidad.
Yeah. And remember too, folks, there's organ trafficking as well. There's sex trafficking. She could have been sold into that.
Mm-hmm.
You name it. Any number of things could have happened to her. The purpose for what? Was for drug trafficking. So there you have the act, the means, and the purpose. We hope you all are taking notes how it starts.
Yep.
Kersha, thank you very much for being so patient with us. And you no stranger to I-95.5. You came here with RMR, and now you're here with us. You heard Raquel. How did this begin for you? What were you doing before you decided to be a headline interview yourself?
I was going to school.
Tell us about that.
I was pursuing nursing, and I was going to school, and a very close relative of mine introduced me to these people.
Relative this time?
Yeah. And it was like a big party, you know? We're going to party, we linemen. One of the persons had a bar.
How old were you then?
22.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the person, but the mastermind, he had a bar. So we were linemen and everything. And I told him, you know, it was Easter, around Easter time. You know, I want to go to Jamaica. And, boy, the ticket is a lot of money. It's $5,000 plus. And he said, you know, well, I can get it for you cheaper. So I said, okay, how much is cheaper? He have a site, he could get it like for 2,500. So instantly I was like, for real? You know, I want that ticket. So he said, you know what, just bring your passport and give me the money and I will organize a ticket for you. And I was like, okay, no problem. Wow. Very gullible.
And you thought nothing of it?
Nothing.
Because had you traveled before, or did you?
Yes, I'm accustomed to traveling, yes. Okay. So this guy, he called me probably a few days after and he said, you know, I got a ticket, but I bought a ticket to England instead. I was like, why you would buy a ticket to England? I am not going to England. I want to go to Jamaica. And he said, well, you know, you would have to go to England. I said, no, the ticket is already bought. I said, no, I'm not going to England. I'm going to Jamaica. If you cannot, please give me back my money. And he said, no, the ticket's already bought and you're not going to Jamaica. I said, no problem. At that point in time, I was scared because I was thinking like something is not right. I went to my boss at the time and I told him and he was like, sell your car and give him back the money or whatever. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So he contacted me again. He said, well, okay, you want to go to Jamaica? You have to do something for me. Carry these 2 pairs of shoes for my wife in Jamaica and the debt is cancelled. I said, no, I'm not doing it. And he said,
shoes?
Yeah, 2 pairs of shoes.
That he couldn't put in a FedEx box or something and send it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, well, if you don't do this, I know you have a daughter, I know where you live, and I am going to kill your family. So at that point in time, I was like, okay, think quick. I went back to my boss, and he said, go to the police. Now I'm thinking if I go to the police, it would be over, because this guy used to come and park up in front of my house and just drive off. So I know it was serious. So I said, you know what, let me just do what I had to do, pray and go forth. And I did.
Did you tell your relative what is happening here?
Yes.
Maybe you could introduce me to this.
Yes.
And what did your relative say?
I'd rather not talk about that.
All right.
But yes, and I decided to go through with it. So when I told him, I said, yes, I'm going to do it. Just tell me what I have to do. He said, well, I'm going to come and pick you up, and we're going up to my house. So we went to a house in Digo Martin, and he packed the suitcase. I saw them packing everything. And I was just praying. I was frightened because it was just me and these 2 men. One was from Jamaica, one was from Trinidad.
Now, what family? Did you tell your mom, dad, or anybody what you were going to do?
No.
So what?
I just told my boss at the time.
Yeah,
so how did you explain your travel then to them?
To them, to your family?
I didn't explain. I was 22 thinking, well, I don't have to explain anything to anybody.
You just said they were going to Jamaica for a weekend?
Yes. My ex-husband was is Jamaican, so it would not have been strange for me to just go to Jamaica, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went ahead and they packed the suitcase and they carried me straight to the airport. I didn't have time to run or nothing. I had to go straight to the airport.
No, you were living with mother, father?
My mother, my stepfather, and siblings.
Siblings.
Yes.
Okay. And you were the eldest, or they had older
I'm the
than
second.
You're the second?
Yes.
And so, but you had that sort of opportunity or privilege to just say, look, I'm just going to Jamaica without giving any further explanation.
Yes.
And your mother didn't probe or give what you doing?
I think she asked. I can't remember my response at the time. Because when I was leaving, I remember I was sitting in the gallery and I go in with my suitcase.
Looking at you?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
The same look my mother.
Yes.
Mother doesn't know, you know.
Yeah.
It's the same look my mother, the same thing my mother did. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Wow.
So when I went to the airport, the first time, so there were 3 instances I had to go to the airport. The first time, the ticket wasn't bought for Jamaica. So I had to go back a second time. Same thing happened. But the Jamaican guy, he bought his ticket because he said he's traveling with me, right? He's traveling with me. So he bought his ticket and he left. And he said, okay, so I'm going to buy a ticket when I reach Jamaica and I'm going to send it back for you. And the third time when I went to the check-in counter, checked in, went upstairs, and I was waiting to board. And then I saw these 2 guys coming towards me. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. And they say, you are Kersha Eastman? I said, yes. Please come with me. And they escorted me to the baggage lounge downstairs.
So was it the drugs were in your checked luggage?
Yes.
Checked luggage.
Yes. And the dogs were there, and they said, choose, pick your luggage. And I picked out my luggage, and they opened it. They opened the shoes, and they punctured it, and they found the cocaine.
So this was customs or police?
Police. Yes.
So this police would have been from SNU. I'm sorry, SIU. Who was? Well, I know.
Possibly.
The
OCN.
organized crime, not called OCNU. Who is now SNU. SIU. Yes. This thing has me so messed up. Every time I hear somebody going through this, no, the SIU, the officers too are very well trained.
Right.
And even though they may miss some, but they would miss all.
They would have been monitoring the luggage on that particular flight that day. And
so they approached you.
Yeah, and they took me downstairs. I identified my luggage. They found the cocaine, and that's where it began. My journey to prison. It was very, very hard.
So what happened from there when you identified the drugs? Did they do a field test right there?
In front of you?
In front of you?
Yes.
How did they do that? Do you remember?
They punctured the shoes and they have a swab. They told me if this swab turns blue, this is believed to be cocaine.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and it did.
Right.
And they took me to the airport holding cell, where they questioned me. And I told them everything from A to Z. I told them who it was. I told them.
Were you crying? Were you upset?
Yes. I told them everything. They took me to the house where I was in Digger Martin. They found the sealer, everything that they used to prepare the drugs, but they did not find the owner. They went to his establishment. They never found him. Yeah.
Establishment?
Yeah, he had a
business.
Bar, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, you did say that at the top. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Independency, and you're hearing from Kersha now, who had her experience, and our law enforcement was on top of their game that day, unfortunately for her, and she was arrested. So you spent the night?
Yes, I spent the night. I can't remember. I think it's Aruka police station in the holding cell. They took me home. They searched my room, and they took me back, but the officers were really nice, eh?
No, tell us, no. We heard this story before, and folks, I want you to go through the step by step this journey. When you got home, that's at your parents' home, your
yes.
mom, right? What was their reaction? What time did you arrive at home with the police, and what was their reaction?
I remember my mom was shocked. She said, no, not Kersha, never. No, I don't believe it. That was her words, yeah.
What time was that?
That was in the afternoon, probably like after 3, 4.
Did you get a chance to call anyone? They didn't give you a phone call?
No.
Okay.
No. I think after they gave me a phone call.
But because they had to do their, and not let you warn off anybody or anything like that.
Yes.
Okay, understood. But the look on her face, remember that look when you were leaving?
Yeah.
What did that look say to you when you were leaving on her face?
Like something isn't right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And she confirmed that when they showed up with you.
Yes.
How did she respond?
She was shocked. She was shocked. She kept saying, no, it's not Kersha, so you have the wrong person, or something to that effect.
Did she see you in the vehicle?
Yes, they took me out. They showed me a room. They went through my room. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to speak with her? Or
No, couldn't speak to anybody.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
That must have been very difficult.
Very difficult. And I saw my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter was there, and she's like, Mommy, why are you going in the police van?
And you were in handcuffs still, right?
No.
You were in handcuffs?
No, they didn't handcuff me.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least they afforded you that little dignity to walk in. Did they go with a marked or unmarked vehicle?
They were marked and unmarked vehicle.
Pull up in front of your mother's house?
Probably about 4 or 5. Yeah.
4 or 5 what?
Vehicles.
What?
Surrounded the whole house. I felt shame.
Ooh.
I embarrassed my family, so I was very, very ashamed.
They surrounded the house.
Yeah.
So that means they were police with tactical
Yes.
uniform on as well.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Do you recall the amount of cocaine that you were carrying?
It was 0.3. Well, they said half of a kilo, but exactly 3.75 or something like that.
Half of a kilo?
Yeah.
All of that for half a kilo?
Yes.
Maybe they thought it was part of a bigger operation. Which
No,
is
no, not all of that.
war.
For drugs are drugs, you know.
I
Illegal
know,
drugs
but
are
you would
illegal
think
drugs.
that kind of effort would be expended for a significant amount of drugs.
No, Natasha, I agree with them with this one because you see, going to the house, they don't know who they're going to meet.
Yes.
Right? Remember, there could be an operation going on home there too.
Yeah,
and these people could be armed because where there are drugs, there are guns.
Yes.
And, you know, it could be a gram. They need to take precaution. You know, it's I understand that part is a military thing. You're going for 6 men, you have to go with 20. That's how it's supposed to be. Right? But they surrounded your house.
Yes.
And dogs barking and so on, and neighbors came out.
Yes, neighbors came out, the whole shebang, everybody there watching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they search your house, and police don't take off their shoes before they come in your house.
No,
so,
they wouldn't.
so everybody just walking through your mother's house,
Mhm.
and your mother just have to sit there and look at this happening. They
Yes.
went to your room.
Yes.
They searched your room.
Yes.
They found nothing else.
No, they found a block of magnesium. Like, this is drugs? I said, no. And then they found my old passport and they went through it. And it's like, you're accustomed traveling? I said, yes. You ever did this before? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you were leaving the house after they did, how long did they stay at the home?
A good while, probably an hour to 2 hours. They allowed me to have a shower, change of clothes.
Okay.
And yeah, talk to my daughter.
Mhm.
And then they took me back to the airport.
You had female officers with them as well?
Yes, they were really, really nice officers.
Yeah.
Because when I explained what happened and how I got into the situation, one of the officers, she told me, she said, I wish I could just let you free right now, let you go, because I know the circumstances and we know you will set up. Because they showed me a picture of the person.
Right.
Yeah, that my relative had introduced me to. They showed me a picture of her, and it's like, we know that, but because we found this in your
yours.
possession, you have to.
It's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and Kersha is we have done so many interviews in our time, but every interview we do always still gives us a little jolting and leaves us, you know, with our jaws on the floor. It's because I could imagine that part of it too, with police coming into your mother's home
The
and
trauma of it all.
the trauma of it all.
It's not.
So when you were leaving now to go with the police now, what did your mom and your daughter, what was their response, their reaction?
I just remember my daughter walking to the side of the police vehicle, trying to find out what. She was two at the time. And I was in an unmarked police vehicle, so the female officer, she put her to sit with me, and I said, you know, Mommy will be back. Don't worry, don't cry. And that was it. They took me to get something to eat. I had a choice, what you want to eat.
We must commend the police
Yes.
for their humane way of dealing with you.
Yeah.
I really commend them for that. And whoever, Aruka Police, you know, who the officers were in this situation, we thank you very much for at least sparing her some.
Did the police explain to your mom what would happen?
I'm not
No?
sure.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
don't
sure
know.
if they did.
Did your mom cry when you were leaving? They were leaving with you?
I can't remember.
You
This
didn't,
was
you didn't
like
look at her?
No, I was too ashamed.
Yeah, I know. I could imagine. And you didn't want to see that look again on her face the
Yeah.
second time you're leaving the home now. You're arrested.
Yeah.
So you, Trinidad and Tobago, I always, forgive me, this morning, these two interviews really brought back a lot of bad memories. But Kersha, so you were processed, you went to court. How long did you stay at the station before they read you your charges? And
Probably 2 days. Because it was a Thursday. I stayed the weekend at a Rima police station, and I went to court the Monday.
Always this weekend, eh?
Yeah.
You know? that's another part of it too.
And what was that like for you, that staying in a police station cell?
The first night I cried and bawled for my mother. Yeah, because it was horrible. Aruga's police station was horrible. The smell, the hole in the ground, I never used that. They took me to Piaco to shower and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I told them I would not use the toilet or anything there. And it was bad. It was really bad.
I think that's something we have to refocus our attention on
Absolutely.
and understand it's a basic human right that
Yes.
a cell don't have to be a dungeon and a nasty stink smelling place with a hole in the ground. That's slavery
inhumane,
days,
of course.
inhumane cells. We need to step that up. That's one thing I know. And thankfully you had police officers who were a little humane, so it could have breaks that fall a bit, but I can imagine, like I said, I've experienced it. I saw the one with the cockroaches and the rats. That's not easy. So you went to court.
Yes.
And charges were, and what was the result?
Trafficking cocaine. I got 2 charges. One was dropped. I got bail. And yeah, my dad, he bailed me out and I went home.
Now, that conversation with your mom when things settled now, I mean, I know she was glad to see you, but
Yeah.
I want Trinidad to be able to hear, I want the mothers who are listening to hear that you wouldn't have to have this discussion with your daughter. Girl, what's wrong with you? Why would you do this to us? Did that go like that? Tell us.
To be honest, to this day, I never really had a conversation with my mom about what happened.
Serious?
Yeah.
So you just went back home and
Yeah.
just act normal?
Yeah.
Nobody asked you anything?
Yes, they asked. My grandfather, he was alive at the time. I told him the entire story, and I think that was about it.
But what was the relation? How did it affect the relationship?
I
with
had
you?
to leave home. I left home.
Yeah, it had to have
Yeah.
a repercussion to that.
I had to
You
leave.
decided that, or the treatment your mom gave you made you decide that, or did she decide that for you?
I decided that I would have to leave.
Why?
Because I put my family through a lot, My mom, they are respectable people in the community, and it was a very horrible thing for her. So I decided to leave that area. Yeah.
So you and your daughter left?
No, I
You
left.
left
My
your
mom took care of my daughter for a while until I settled, and then I took her.
Okay.
Okay, let's swing it this way, right? You went home, and your mom she was in the kitchen cooking. She was outside. She was in the bedroom. She was.
I can't remember. This was 11 years ago, so I really can't
right.
remember.
But you walked in.
Yeah.
And
I
you
remember
went to your room.
Yes, and I just started to pack.
One time. So it didn't take you long to decide that you were going to leave home.
No.
Where did you go?
I went to a friend's.
And how long did?
I'm Natasha.
Yes.
I don't know if I can intervene a little bit, but I could understand what Kersha went through there. Because my parents are also very respectable persons. My dad, as a matter of fact, is a very known person, very known. And while I was locked up abroad, there were so many stories that my dad gave me drugs to carry over there, and he is a mastermind in it. And it's really because your parents are, according to Kersha, respectable. It's hard for you to deal with certain things. And this is part of the reason why I want to keep my identity hidden as well. Because of them, I want to keep what they have achieved their whole life. It shouldn't be broken down by me, by what I did. So,
understood.
Packing and leaving. I think I did the same thing. I didn't say. As a matter of fact, I jumped into a marriage to change my name almost instantly after I came home, so that they wouldn't be affected.
Right. Wow. So, Kersha, the final verdict, how much time you got for?
Well, I appealed the time I got. I got 2.5 years first. That was in 2018, and I appealed. And it's only last year I got my sentencing of 20 months, and I did 13 months. Yeah.
No, did your mom come visit you?
No.
Anybody from the family visit you?
My aunt, I had a lot of support. Even though she didn't come, I had a lot of support. I could call them for anything, especially my aunt and my stepfather. They were very supportive. Yeah. But my aunt would come every month, and then too, I was limited to one visit. And I wanted to see my children every month, so I would ask my husband to come on a video call so I can see them. So nobody could come to see me, So it's not like she didn't come because, I made it clear that I want to see my kids every month. I had a 3-month-old baby, and I went into prison, and that was very hard. Leaving her behind, leaving all of them behind.
So you were out on bail before you were sentenced?
Yes.
Yes. So you had moved out to your parents' home, you're in your new place, going back and forth to court.
Yes.
And I'm assuming engaging with your daughter and your family, other members of your family in between. What was the court process like for you? Because I know many people are intimidated by that. Apart from, the handcuffs and the police and the horrible cell and all of that, the court experience is one that is traumatic for a lot of people as well.
Yes, it was. It was long and drawn out. It was expensive, so I had to get a job to pay my lawyers to fight for me. My lawyer, she did really well, I must say. But when I was sentenced last year, it wasn't, the judge gave me time because I was pregnant when the appeal came up. Mm-hmm. So she gave me time, and I was thinking that I'm going to get a fine. So I put everything in place in case, and I got time.
What have you learned from this, Kersha? And what are you doing now? But most of all, what have you learned from this?
To never trust friends. Never trust nobody. Friends would carry you, but they wouldn't bring you back. My time in prison has taught me humility, tolerance. I also, as Raquel mentioned, I studied in prison. I did a 8SEP course, so I'm a certified graphic artist as well as a nurse, and I did life skills, data operations, and I would just like to pick up the 8SEP Durita program. Miss Sandra Swift, I would just like to say good morning to you. And Miss Hughes, she was my psychologist from 8SEP. They were really, really tremendous. I did psychology as well.
Okay. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we're having a nice conversation here with Raquel on the phone and Kersha, who's in studio with us. Both experienced being in penal institution for drug trafficking. They were trafficked. And Kersha is now telling her, so remember, if you missed the program from the start, you can go back to our Facebook or YouTube channel and get the program from the beginning as soon as we come to an end here at 12 noon. So Kersha, you were giving advice now to young ladies now out there who listen to a friend and who may have, in this week here, come in here.
And even trusted a relative, though. That part, I know you don't want to say much about it, but I think it is one of the things that is most difficult to reckon with, because you're supposed to be able to trust your family. Mm-hmm. And for someone who is blood related to you to set you up like that, it's.
So your advice is to trust no one?
No one. Only trust God. Yeah. So
you were released from prison in July of this year.
Yes.
How has it been for you in reintegrating and getting yourselves, setting that clock back to zero and starting all over again?
I thought it would have been difficult, but with my family support, it was really easy. I started back working. I'm starting back trying to build my business, and I'm doing really well.
Your mom and the relationship with her, how was that?
It's being in prison. I would talk to her, and it improved a little. But I just want to mention one thing. My aunt, I would always say this, she was with me foot on foot. Anything I wanted, she would make sure and crawl if she have to crawl to the prison and bring it, she would. And our relationship grew stronger because of that.
And she's your mother's sister?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's that auntie who understands and
everything.
Yeah.
Support 100.
And support you 100.
Yes.
You don't want to experience this again, right?
Never. And I don't want the young ladies to experience this as well. Even though the time in prison was beneficial to me, I really don't want, it's hard not having your own freedom. Having somebody in your face 3 o'clock in the morning, you have to bathe now, is hard. But there are some really lovely officers. I had a mental breakdown, and there was this one particular officer. She made sure that I was good. She would come, she would talk to me, so it was a horrible experience, but I learned a lot from being in prison.
Was it dehumanizing to as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we weren't in cells because my daughter was asking, Mommy, somebody told me I was in a cell 24. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's the other thing, Kersha. You being in prison, and as Raquel mentioned, people on the outside talking to your relatives or your children about what you are going through without having any inkling of what is really happening. Yeah. Did that happen to you as well?
Yes, because a lot of people would think that for me, like I volunteered to do this. No, I was forced, I was threatened to do this. And being in prison, for me as well, I thought it would be like in the cell and you're just in the cell. No, they allowed us to choose what we want to do, right? And I remember when you came in, I was doing the Vision and Mission program, and you inspired me as to tell my story because you told your story as well. And that was really good. The Vision and a Mission was a big help to me as well. And I just want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome. And on the other thank deceased Wayne Chance and his wife for that because they continued and, with Mr. Wilson and Professor Sharma now, and they continue to do that work. And I was fortunate to be part of the pre-release program to speak to people about navigating their way out of reoffending and how not to go back to prison. So, because the 11th of June 1991 was the day I walked out of Golden Grove, Port of Spain prison, and I decided I am not going back.
Yeah.
The experience for me too was traumatic, especially not having lived that lifestyle.
Yes.
Another custom, I'm a roughneck, yes, but not that side of the fence. You know what I mean?
Not that rough.
But it's really dehumanizing. You know what it is to. Let me tell you, and Kersha may bear me out on this. You want to, it's 10 o'clock in the night, 10 o'clock in the evening, right, and you want to go off. You didn't have no key to open no gate to go outside in the back. You had to pull a pigtail bucket and stoop right down in front of 10 people,
That's the male prison.
In the male prison? Yeah.
The female, we had washroom facilities.
Right, I remember.
Yeah.
You were under Mr. Wilson, Mr. Ramuta. Who was the commissioner? Ramuta.
Yeah,
right.
Ramuta/Crasby.
Right. And I know there were some misgivings about how Mr. Ramuta had you all doing that about, be access. But I'm talking from the male point of view. Remember, for me, it was back then, the pigtail bucket was the toilet, the facilities then till now, in some cases. And to pull that bucket, either to urinate or defecate in front of people. That you don't know from Adam, but you have to listen to me. I never used it. I sat on it, but I used to wait till the morning, and I got constipated. Listen to, look, let me do that. But Kersha, we understand. This is why you're here with us, because I want you to share your part of the journey as a female being in prison. I hope you're learning something this morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And I think it's a good time to segue into this video, short my lineup video A, because it's all about addiction. You see the people who sell these drugs, see the people who distribute, they are addicted too. they are addicted just as the user. This is why they're so brutal when you mess with the drugs and their money. And to all the parents out there who are listening, if you have a son or daughter who's dealing with this kind of darkness, when they come, whether it's police or the guys who want back their drugs or money, everybody going down to it. Unfortunately for Kersha, it was found on her at the airport. Anytime police come home by you and find drugs, guns, anything illegal, everybody, including the parrot, going there. Let me let you all know that. You could plead the fifth how many times you want. Just as in the airport, when they ask you, did you pack your bag? Once you say yes, that's a trick question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you say yes,
that's yours.
Whatever in that bag is yours. You can cry till the cows come home. They are not going to let you go. Think about it. We can only try to prevent. We can't stop you from doing it. So if you have a trip tomorrow, please God, and you don't know what's in that bag, you better double check. Listen,
But then what? Okay, but then what do you do?
That's the thing.
What advice can we really give to somebody who is in that situation?
You can't.
You can't.
Because if you go to the police, they would come after
That's
you.
the catch-22, Natasha. You can't.
So
You're in it already.
No,
Once
but
they come
I'm
to
just
you, that's it.
confused
Books
as to
closed.
how do you prevent this then?
Only if you prepare to go into a witness protection program, only if you intend this. Once you make that report, you start the domino effect from there. Expect from either side. And then, remember, they have different networks. So, no, it's a catch-22. They're addicted to as well. So, let's go to that video, short man.
Yes.
Folks, this is our morals. We're not straying from it. Listen to what addiction is all about. And for those of you who have the ear to hear, please, we want you to listen. Go ahead.
We use the term addiction to cover a whole range of different behavioural problems that people experience in controlling behaviours. Many years ago, of course, the term was used quite narrowly to cover problems that people had with what we would now consider to be physical addiction. You take a drug, you get used to the drug, your body adapts physiologically, and then when you stop taking the drug, you suffer unpleasant or even life-threatening withdrawal symptoms. We no longer use the term in that way for a very good reason, and that is we've come to understand that there's actually a wide range of different kinds of behaviours which fall into this broad category that we want to call addiction, because the real problem is not the withdrawal symptoms per se, but it's what happens to the person's free will, if you like, what happens to the choices that they make, the behaviours that they engage in. We now recognise that addiction covers things that don't even involve drugs, gambling, for example, some forms of internet use, and even issues such as eating disorders or obesity. So there is this general term that we're now using to describe a behavioural problem in which there's a powerful motivation to engage in a behaviour which has been learnt through experience and which is causing harm. The way that society treats them affects the problems that the users experience. So, for example, when you have something like alcohol dependence or addiction to cigarettes, both of which comprise behaviours which are essentially legal, then you've got a different set of problems than if you're trying to deal with problems associated with illicit drug use. The fundamental differences arise from the social context, the pharmacology of the drug, if there is a drug involved, and the psychological reactions to the drug and the social context in which it occurs. The way we understand addiction affects what we do to try to combat it. Let's say you're a politician or working in an agency that's involved in interventions to try to combat addiction. If your model of addiction is that it is fundamentally about choice, about free choice that addicts make, then you will engage in a certain kind of intervention. You will engage in interventions that affect that choice. For example, you'll use the criminal justice system, you'll use taxation, you'll use mass media campaigns to try to tackle the problem. If you're someone who believes believes that addiction is fundamentally a brain disease, then it's a different set of interventions. You will try to look for better drugs to help people to stop, or better behavioural support programs to treat this disease process. So it makes a very big difference how you view the problem.
Thank you for staying with us. So that very short video from the European Union Drug Intervention Program about addiction explains very well to our minds, even though it's a relatively old video. I think it's about 8 or 10 years old. It explains very well that addiction is seen and understood by people in very different ways, and that impacts on how we treat persons who we identify as addicts, whether to a substance or activity. And thank you for staying with us. So that's very short. We want. So I know God wanted to tie this into the people on the other side, the persons who are involved in the trafficking of drugs, and what are they addicted to, God?
Yeah, they're addicted to the gains from this. Just like you heard the guy talk about gambling and the alcohol and all of these things. But people who can help, we ask you all to pay attention, please, because there are some of us who are weak and will fall prey and may never return. Brings to mind, I walked out of prison and never looked back. Never relapsed one day, because I know that drug will destroy me totally. I have a giant sleeping with me for the last 34 years, and I wake him up. I have to feed him for the next 34 years. It's the same thing. The first hit, the first win, the first pop of a pill, it leads to the same thing. The thing is, just don't do it. And if you're doing it, there are those who can drink casually and it wouldn't affect them. There are those who could smoke, there are those who could gamble. Speaking of which, folks, there's a billboard we have in St. James that we need to make you aware of. That's one of the outreach that we were doing. And we're going to take your calls in a while after we show the video of the guy on Silas that saved the man from the burning car. But we want to save that billboard. And we're calling on you. We've never taken Dependency to raise funds for anything for us. We always raise funds for people. But, you know, the government, the national security and counter trafficking taking charge of or taking care of the airtime. But we had an arrangement to keep that billboard up, and we stand a chance of losing it, folks. Unfortunately, those of you who pass on George Cabral Street, heading west from Long Circular Mall, you will see it, that billboard. We are asking some one or two businessmen to contact us. You'll get your branding on the billboard so that we could keep that awareness going, because there are people who are suffering out there. They need our help. And, you know, for those of you who need to hear this, when a man or woman leaves prison, and I'll ask Kersha if she applied for a presidential pardon yet, we'll find out that in a while. When a man or woman leaves prison, the least you can do, especially when we do have a policy in Trinidad and Tobago of helping people like us. We have Vision and Mission, but Vision and Mission oversubscribed right now. What if I can't go to Vision and Mission, or don't want to go to Vision and Mission? I spent 24 years on this. We don't get paid for doing this. We just try to keep it on the air to educate you and all who would listen about the dangers of walking the road I walked. Yet, sometimes we keep facing people or some who don't understand, and they don't want to help people like us. They view us as I don't know what. But you see, when somebody comes out of prison and comes to you and say, I want to do this, that is your part in crime fighting. Please don't turn them away. Please don't try to derail their efforts. Because, like I said, Dr. Rowley keeps saying, all hands on deck, all shoulders to the wheel. This is what he means too. You are the village. You are part of the village. And if you want to derail someone's efforts, it has to question why. You want to derail someone's effort to save other people's lives. It's really strange. And I'm reaching out to you all out there with people like Kersha and people coming out of prison. You must know if somebody on stupidness, because I always say you can't fake discipline for 10 years or 24 years. You cannot. It is not possible. This is why Wayne Chance coined the phrase, doing it right for spite. But Wayne Chance also, deceased wife, will always tell you that keeping that NGO going is what helped to kill him. Because of the people that we continue to meet, from one commissioner of prison to the next, from one commissioner of police to the next, from one minister to the next, from one PS to the next, from one CEO to the next, from one chairman to the next, is a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster ride. It's vicious. We never get to sleep easy. So you see, if somebody come to you and they want to help others, help them now. But if a man walk out of prison, a woman walk out of prison, and they're still on stupidness, you will know. You will know. It's not easy to figure out. It's not difficult, to figure out. Please, I am begging all who have air to hear this morning. Stop trying to derail the efforts of people who want to help others. Read Psalm 4 about helping the poor. It's not the rich people that you help you will get your blessings from, my friend. See, the poor, unknown, waste of time people like me, that's where you get your blessing. So don't try to derail our efforts in trying to educate people. It's not right. And your end will not fare well. I promise you that. Let's go to that video of the young man. And then we come back with your calls for Kersha. And Raquel, you're still with us?
Yes, I am. I'm still here.
Thank you all so much for your time this morning. We love you all. All right? Shortman, let's go. Look at what happened on Silas the other day, folks. And this young man, as I said, I want to...
Keep on in there right now. I guess I'm going to show you how it is. Yeah, get some sand to show you something. Yeah, get some sand. Also, move slow. That woman on the back, she come from there. Hey! What's the ball in?
But what are the head going? You can't take that possibly.
Now don't show something and take it up. Nobody know about that one. Oh boy. That guy go fly, you know. But the police is move yet. Come on, drop your mind. Get some water and throw in that thing, boy. That thing will blow. Nobody may have a bucket of water there yet, boy.
Yes, so folks who listening on radio and cannot see it on YouTube, this young man
just seatbelt.
Climb into the car. It's on its side. Into the car.
Look what you think up here.
And some other friends decided to join him now. And here they are lifting out the man out of the car.
Yeah.
The man is about 3 times the size of this young man. And he went inside, but he just jumped out of the car. And now they're taking him across the street now, into safety, away from the burning vehicle. This should have gone viral. I don't know why it didn't. But to Deshaun Robinson.
Yes. Who is in the vehicle, if he's a police officer, that man is very grateful for your intervention. Yours and your fellow residents of Silas.
Thank you, son. God bless you. And to the fire service, we have a rescue agent here on our hands. We have a rescue man here. This is, fireman lived across the road, and this man is now safe and can thank God for seeing another day. Kersha, before we take your call at 622-3937, you wanted to do something. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to publicly apologize to my family for putting them through this experience. To my mom, my stepdad, my husband, my mother-in-law, everybody who supported me, I would really, really like to say sorry. And I just hope that, we could put this behind us and move forward. Yeah. And to everybody who supported me while in prison, it's too much to call. just like to say thank you all. Thank you to Gat and Natasha for allowing me to share my story, because the stigma behind it is really, really traumatic for me. So I appreciate that very much.
Well,
and
you're welcome. You're
to my husband, who has been my support, thank you very much, and I love you. And to my kids, I know you all are listening. Thank you as well.
You know what I remember? How old is daughter now, the one who came by the police vehicle?
She's 13 now.
When she
Wow.
explained that to Natasha, I get a little choked up at seeing a little child
Mhm.
at the side of the vehicle.
Yes,
you
yes,
know, that is not an easy sight.
It wasn't.
But the female police officer still allowed you
Yes.
to hug her and
Yes.
officer, whoever you are, God bless you. You have a nice heart. Bless your soul. Hello, good 622-3937. If you want to take some calls and remember, folks, that billboard on George Cabral Street. Somebody asked a question. You can reach out to us via my number. It's public knowledge 756-6337. We asking some businessmen to help us keep it up there. And somebody asked, the presidential pardon.
Yep.
Now, if Kersha, regardless of how she's doing now, if she applied for a certificate of good character, you will get one that said you have a
What
conviction.
you were convicted for, yeah.
To apply for a presidential pardon, you need to do that. Because something will come up where you will need that clearance.
I remember you spoke on that in prison, and I wrote everything down.
Right. So you go to the Ministry of National Security
website, and
Natasha,
I'll
post the
find
website.
I'll find the link and I'll
Hello, good
post it.
morning. Hello, good morning. 622-3937. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'm watching the television, guys. So, God, good morning to you. Good morning to Natasha. Blessings to you both. Good morning to your guests. Well, this lady here, she's beautiful, and the other one is also beautiful. Ma'am, I wish you all the best. And your lessons today, what you went through, and, well, you all, thank God, you all have come out very positively and positive because you have acquired a lot while in prison. So God bless you all.
Thank
you. Thank you, Annette. Thank you.
You're welcome. God, this, I have to call it the tragedy that took place there by the Steelers Junction there. But it ended up into something that was like angelic.
Yes.
And I think all the young men there, God, they deserve to get awards. It's the Republic, they should leave it for them. Give all these young men. Because I saw some of them holding the gentleman up in the air. They were running with him.
Yes.
Right? They kept taking him away from the burning car. So I salute them. God bless them. They have added more goodness to their community. And I hope government award them well. Thank you all.
That's
Thank
gallantry they call that.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and well done, young men of the Sea Lords Beetham area for saving this man's life, a police officer's life. Hello, good morning.
Morning to Earth to Human. And Natasha, morning, and to the ladies,
Morning.
It done pass you all. Mistakes is a part of life, and we will all make bad choices from time to time. You learn from it, you move on, you'll see who are your friends and who are your people who really love you and your family members. And the sister song very sincere that she is sorry. And to go into the situation in Sealots, Minister Scotland, that is his constituency. I know you got some good for the boy, because he's a groundsman. So Minister Scotland, you have a hero in your constituency. And that's an example to Trinidad and Tobago moving away from the selfishness that I know here Mr. Sinclair talk about. People still getting all their trouble in them, it's all their NGOs, and I hear Miss Chance this week. You see, we have to understand Mr. Sinclair and Mrs. Sinclair. You just naturally are selfish haters are wrong, and you see envy is a serious hindrance that is in some people's hearts and mind, and they come out of the house every day with that just to create a sikara. But God is good. I don't give Miss Chance the two Psalms to read. Psalms 32, Psalm 34, and Psalm 27. Everything will be cool.
34 and 27.
Yes.
Right.
34 and 27. And just stay quiet. Just stay quiet and just look. Just use your eyes. Talk with your eyes.
Right.
And God will dismantle everything. Thanks, brother.
And I would add Psalm 91 to that. My mom always, as old as I was, Kersha, my mom would also say, every time I leave at home, God, Psalm 91. Psalm 91. She's pound that in my head.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. I am on work here now presently. And Mr. God, I would like you to get you and your mother, your wife, to get an award because you have been doing a very good job every Sunday. I'm a former officer, and I sit down every day to listen to you. If I'm home, I stop what I'm doing just to hear you come on a Sunday. And to the two ladies that passed through their situation, may God richly bless and keep you all and give you the strength to live on. And I wish you all to get a pardon. We all make mistakes. We are not robots. Robots are always make mistakes. So God has put you there for a special purpose and continue to do the good things and spread the joy and love. And to the guys in Silot, I would like them to lift their community high. What they did there, everybody live in communities that have differences. And I live in Madeleine, and in Madeleine we have people do wrong things, but I still talk to them. But in Silot, where they like to stigmatize and move on, these have good people up there. And may God continue to bless these guys and them and lift their spirit high. You have a good day, Mr. God. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much. Just for your information, the closing date for the receipt of nominations for national awards has passed. It's the 19th of May. But I did post in the Facebook chat the page where you can get information about the awards in the different categories, etc.
Right. Okay, I will put your name 5 times.
What is it?
5 times.
Put your name 5 times. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
If it wasn't for you, we would have never know what's taking place with these people that spend time abroad and make sure. We would have never know the struggles that they pass through. So because of you give us a foreplay of what transpires. So if I have to see the president and tell the president, put your name down immediately, the press, I will have to do that.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, right? God bless you. And yes, as well, to get the presidential pardon form, you go to National Security, the Protective Services, they will give you a form, and you fill that out.
Yes.
You have some work to do.
I posted that link in the Facebook chat and on YouTube as well. Yep.
And all of these things. It's a process.
It's quite a lengthy process.
But thank God I have mine, and I could get a clean police to get a good character now, but it wasn't easy. And I thank Mr. Eddie Hart for pushing me in that direction. Eddie Hart and Ephebo Wilkinson, these two men I will never forget for that. Hello, good morning. 622-3937, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
And your operator, Shortman. God boy, good show as usual. I'm glad that those two sisters explained their stories so people wouldn't take basket and get caught up with this instant riches syndrome, right?
Yes.
Friends, carry brethren bring her back. Enough respect to those brethren from the area who rescued the policeman because for too long now, the area has been stereotyped. So I'm glad that the country is being aware of the good things that could happen. And God, boy, you continue to what you're doing because those who help others, just bless them. So good program, safe trip home, and all the best.
All right, thank you so much. Empress, Raquel, tell us, we have one more? All right. Yeah, Raquel, could wrap up. Oh, she's gone. All right, Kersha, tell us, please, your closing comments, because we're 2 minutes away from major news at 12.
Well, I just want to tell everybody who listened today, thank you. I'm seeing the comments on Facebook. And again, thank you to you guys and Natasha. I mean, I am so honored to share my story. And to the youths out there, please, please be vigilant.
Yes, and Natasha?
Indeed. I mean, I'm always, touched by the strength and the courage of the women and men that we interview and have the strength to come on here and tell your stories.
Yeah.
And, we are always here to support in any way we can, and, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best too. And we could leave you with this, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in the darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder the young lion, and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I'll be with him in trouble. I'll deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. We leave you with that prayer today, folks. Raquel, your final closing comments, Raquel, for being with us here today.
My final closing comment is that it has nothing in this life that you do that you can undo. So make sure when you make the choices and the decisions, make them 60 million times before you actually execute it. Because there's nothing that you do that you can undo. So make your choices.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. God bless you, my dear. We'll keep in touch.
Take care, Toronto. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Natasha. You all have a blessed week and be safe.
You too.
You
And we'll
too.
be in touch with you. Coach Athley, thank you very much for your time. And Kersha, thank you so much once again, Natasha.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those of you who
You're
on
welcome.
Facebook and YouTube, we thank you so much. And that psalm was Psalm 91.
Yeah, and he
Keep
read it
that
without, he wasn't reading it, that was from memory.
Yes, but thank my
So-
mother for that. Thank Stella for that. You know, God bless you all. Have a safe week. Try to stay out of trouble. And let's be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem. Take care. Major Jews up next with Still in Henderson.